Hello and welcome back. So now that we have a thingy here for dates, I want us to be able to submit. So let's put a go button here and let's see that in action. So float end. Actually, maybe let's see if we can change this a little bit. If I say justify content end like that, and then I remove the float end. Will this work at all? No, it does not. Well, maybe you like this design more. That's up to you. Let's see if I put that here on the row itself to justify the inner contents. It still doesn't work. Okay, so it depends what you really want. I'll remove that, and instead down here I will put a button. So this kind of button is a submit by default, so I'll just say go like this and refresh, and there it is. So go. Let's put some classes, make it look better. So for starters, let's make it a button. Let's see how it looks with just that. Okay. But I want it to be part of the row. Okay, so it is part of the row. The only problem is it's going all the way. So let's say column also, so it gets a column of its own. Let's put button primary, so it gets a blue color, and let's see how that changes things. Okay, so finally we have that. So start, end, you select, and then you click go. Now we can also put an icon, of course. This one is font awesome, so FA, chevron, and chevron right. That's the arrow that I like to use. Okay, so there we go. Right. Let's see if we make the button smaller by putting button SM, which is button small. Button LG is large. That's good enough. So if I click here, it should show some content here. Let's see that. Okay, so it didn't. Oh, it did. There's start and end, which is not so nice because it eliminates the other values here. So we need to add these values as well. So how do we do that? We can give it a hint by selecting this and copy the current link, right? So that it doesn't have to append to the beginning. It can start from where we are. So I'm just going to put an action and say that. So this is the page we are submitting to. So it's going to concatenate on top of that. So let's see, and let's refresh and then hit go. Oh boy, so it didn't do that at all. Okay, so we're just going to have to become creative. So look here, we have page is equal to admin and tab is equal to sales. So all we need to do is just give it those values. So for now, I'm just going to delete this. But we know we have PG, admin, tab, sales. So what we do is let's add hidden fields, right? So inside the form, I'm going to put an input and say type hidden, and then give it a name. So this one is start end. This name will be PG, which we'll need a value, and the page is admin. Let's duplicate that one and do tab, and then the value will be sales. Okay, so then we don't need this action anymore. It has disappointed us. Okay, so finally, if I hit go, you see that the page is refreshed in place, and we have every parameter we need. There's a start and end right there, which is cool. Okay, so let's give them values, actual values for date. So if I put that date, so I guess this will be a problem a little bit. Want it? Let me see if it's going to work at all, because you see there are slashes in here, and slashes are special characters inside the URL. So let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, so it's clever enough. It changes them to dashes like that, so that's very convenient. I think the thought of this is why the date input changes them to dash like that. So that's pretty convenient if you ask me. Okay, so now we can get a start and end date. So let's see if we can carry those. So first of all, let's go to the admin section inside the cells. Right here where we're getting the section, because this is really for the cells only. So I'm just going to say start date is equal to, and I will get the get. This is pretty much the same as what we need to do here. Let me duplicate one more time. Let's do this, start date. And then if it doesn't exist, let's leave it as a no value. Let me duplicate this and change start instance to end. So start date, end date, we are covered. Okay, so if both of these are set, then we have something to do. Now if only one is set, like start date, then we will get records for that specific date only. If both are set, we're going to do an in between the start date and end date. Those are the params we're going to use for loading. Now before we do any of that, let's see what happens when we show the start date. And then let's show end date as well, just to make sure we are getting what we want. So if I hit go, you see we get empty, and then let's select a particular date and then hit go. Okay, so we didn't get any of it. Also, we need to return those dates here in case we and we know start date, end date, what is really going on here. So I'm going to copy this, and we have our function here. Where are the functions? Inside the core. Okay, our set value is very basic. Okay, I was hoping the set value function deals with get variables as well, but that's okay. So what we can do is, let's go back to cells, and I want us to have a default value in case it's there. So let's do this. Let me put value here, say value. Okay, for now it's empty, but then I can put an if statement and say if not empty, get, because we don't want errors, start date, close that, and close that. Okay, so if it's not empty, then question mark, use it, right? Start date, close that, and then put a full colon. If it's empty, let's put empty quotes. So of course this one is for end date, so we're just going to change the end to end there. Okay, so let's choose a few dates. And let's go. Okay, so that doesn't seem to work either. What is going on? It also doesn't even show on the thing here, which is not good. Wait a second. Start, end. Okay, so that's the problem. I'm including date here when it does not exist. Okay, sorry about that. Even here, I guess I did the same mistake. So let's remove the date like this. All right, let me refresh the page, and there we can see, and there we can see. Okay, so pretty good. We have everything under control now. Let me remove this. So start date and end date are pretty valid. Let's refresh. Okay, so there it is. So in other words, end date is optional. Okay, both are optional, but you can also add start date alone without end date. Then we will only show records for the same day, or a user can select the same date on both places, and then we show records for one day. All right, so in the next video, let's see how we can actually tie this to a query, which is not difficult at all.